Hello, I'm Carmel Larson, founder of Momni, and really excited to get to introduce you to one of our wonderful Momni hosts, Lisa Draper, who is sharing with us today her thoughts about motherhood and Momni. How are you, Lisa?
I'm so good. Thank you. How are you, Carmel?
I'm doing great. So before we get started, tell us about you. Who is Lisa? Who is Mama Lisa? Tell us about you.
Okay. Well, my name's Lisa Draper, and I'm a wife and a mother and a horse lover and um, animal lover. I'm an artist and a pianist. There's lots of things that go into the background of a mother, isn't there? More than just the mom title, and they make the mom title. So lots of things. And my husband and I live in Lehi at the moment. And I have a degree in psychology from BYU and have actually a family in the area. That's what brought us down here and has kept us close. And we love the family connection. So I guess that's a little bit about me.
Great. So before we dive into my questions I have about Momni, I want to hear about you as a mother first. One of the things we love about Momni is it connects moms to moms, or all parents. Dads are welcome too. Anyone's welcome to be a Momni, but most of the people making connections are mothers. So tell me something about you as a mother. What do you love about being a mom?
I love seeing improvement and the joy that comes from improvement. I love seeing it in my own life, and I love being the mentor for improvement in my children's lives. It doesn't always go that beautifully. Sometimes I'm the facilitator for a lot of backtracking before we figure out the improvement together. But I love seeing improvement and growth in my children.
That's beautiful. I love that too. Sometimes I hope that improvement goes faster than it actually does, but over the course of
Yeah.
time, the the growth and improvement in our children and in ourselves as well.
Yeah.
Well, let's
Absolutely.
back up a little bit and let's talk about your mom. You mentioned family in the area. Is that your own mother?
Yes. So my mother's name is Vicki Gerlach, and she lives in American Forks, so very close to me here in Utah. And and I'm actually the oldest of 10 children. So it goes, yeah, there's lots of kids in my family, which you understand. You have quite a family yourself, and so it's chaos in my house. And I loved. My favorite thing about my mom is that she exudes pure love. And with anyone that exudes pure love, the nice thing about that is it doesn't matter how your conversation goes or whether there's a misunderstanding or something wasn't communicated quite right. You know that at the base of it, the intention was always pure love. And as long as there's a knowledge of that person, like literally the only person who could ever be offended by my mother is someone who does not know her at all. And I strive to be like that, where if there was ever a problem or someone really gets ticked at me, it's because they don't know me to the point that they don't realize that whatever mistake I made in my communication, the base of it was pure love, and I really admire that in my mom. And I've noticed that she communicates with infants much better than most. It's because when she picks them up, they know that there's just pure love attached to every movement she has for them. So my very young children like being around grandma much more than they like being around me because they're able to feel that pure love that comes from her. So definitely how to have pure love is from my mom.
That is so beautiful. I need to interview her. Extract from her and share with all of the other mothers and mommies of how to develop that gift.
Yeah, for sure. Something I'm going to be working on for a long time.
Well, that's a beautiful thing, and evidenced by the infant
Yeah.
reactions. I love that. So tell me, how did you first? I know you're a fan of Momni, and I want to get
Yes.
into some of the reasons why and how that has been blessing and will bless your life. Tell me, how did you first hear about Momni?
So I have known Carmel, you, through American Mothers years ago, and so I always knew that you were a very heavy-hitting person, someone that really could see into the needs of others, not only directly around you, but globally, of this understanding of needs and how to address them. And I've seen that with many of the projects that your family has worked on. And so when I heard about Momni and you started talking about it when the idea first came to seed, I had no idea what it was about, but I knew it was going to be awesome. So I started looking into it more as it grew and watching it. And I knew the whole time that this was something that you were particularly keyed into understanding. You knew the struggles that that mothers have, especially as they're trying to develop themselves and serve. That our family obviously comes first, but personal growth is incredibly important. If we can't give our children, if there's none of ourselves left, we can't give our children of ourselves, if that makes sense. If you can't draw from an empty well. And sometimes in order to fill that well, we need time away. We need space to be able to walk away and do anything from basic things like doctor's appointments where sanity happens and all the drawers aren't flung around the room, to which has happened so many times in our family, to more growth and development. Things like going out and for me, it would be going to my friend's house and riding a horse, just taking an hour to myself, which is that second part is incredibly hard to come by. That luxury of being able to walk away knowing that my children are safe. And being able to find that purpose. Sometimes when I offer childcare to people, I say, well, I can take them, just let me know, like doctor's appointments, whatever. That's kind of a touchy subject of, well, do you expect something in return? What times work for you? If I actually reach out and ask you, is it going to ruin our friendship if you somehow can't do it? And a lot of those things are kind of silly. But there's something that runs through our heads as mothers, especially because we understand the difficulty it is to watch our children, because we do it all the time. And it's hard. And we don't want to impose on anybody else by giving them our kids for something that we feel that possibly we might be able to survive taking them for. And that's the story of just about every OBGYN visit that I've ever had. So it's just horrible. So with that, we have this beautiful place where we know that people have signed up, that they're ready, they're willing, and they're willing at in different locations with different gifts, with different budgets, with different children of their own. And there's someone always there. That's the idea behind Momni, and that's the beauty of Momni, is there's someone always there. There's someone there if you need a weekend away with your spouse. There's someone there if you're going on a trip with your girlfriends. There's someone there for your doctor's appointment, and there's someone there for that class you always wanted to take.
It's funny you bring up the OB. It reminded me of a story when about 5 years ago, I came home from a dentist appointment, and I told my husband how amazing it was to be at the dentist and how I had a full hour just in the dentist chair, and it was so peaceful. And he kind of shook me into reality. He's like, honey, you're talking about the dentist, right? That is not where people typically, and I was like, oh, you're right. I should shout more. I should. And it was like this reality check. If I think the dentist is a really great time and just so amazing and I can't wait to get back there again, that there might be a problem.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I do remember that visit, and I was just laying in that chair, so grateful to be laying down and to have no one talking to me. And
someone's doting on you, even if it's painful, right? Someone's there for just you.
Yes. Okay, so you've shared a lot of examples and ideas of how Momni has blessed your life, how it can bless others by, I think, being on the Momni guest side, dropping your children off so that you can have a minute to spare. But what made you decide to be a Momni host? The other side of it, the one hosting the children.
Yeah. So I was one of the first Momni hosts, and part of it is just because we need hosts to spread a connection. And the other part of it is that my family's been foster parents. So my husband and I have been foster parents before. We've had 2 separate sets of foster children at this point. Our license lapsed a few months ago, so we're no longer right now, but we still have the training in place. That's just because we have some really young children right now, and I can take children for sprints, but not for months at a time at the moment. Can't do court right now. So, but we were able to see the way that my children grew in that foster care experience in a way that they couldn't have ever grown in any other way. They really got this understanding that all shapes and colors, all ages and differences, all backgrounds, we're all children of God, and we're all connected in a way that that love can reach through and nothing else. And they got to learn how to love and serve people that they didn't know, that we literally met as their bags were being dropped at our door. And we had, that's just how it happens with foster care. You meet them as they come in to live in your home, and that's a really different and incredible experience. And like I said, we're not in a position to foster care this year. We'll probably be back in a couple years, but we're not in a position right now. And but we want to be able to expand that ability to have children who come in and are immediate parts of our home. And that is a normal way to treat the people around us, that they're friends and they don't have to do anything to earn being a friend. They get to walk in and we get to treat them with love no matter who they are or what they look like. And that's an opportunity that you get through bringing a gigantic number of people in your home that you're not going to find any other way. So our children and our family, we've trained everybody that everyone is a friend. So we walk through the street, it doesn't matter what they look like. If my children get a glimpse of them, you get the stare thing that happens sometimes, especially people that look a little different from your family. The stare ends with, "Can you say hello to our friend?" And that's how everybody is greeted. It's at Costco, it's at the airport, it's wherever we are. Say hi to our friends or wave hi to our friends. And I want everybody to know that that love is not only there for them as they walk into our home, that's there for them as we pass them on the street, and that's a normal way to react to people around us. And Momni allows me to share that with my children more regularly.
That's a beautiful vision of how to teach your children to be good friends and welcoming. That's great. I love that. I wasn't expecting that kind of an answer. Most people think about the benefit of being a Momni host is earning money, but I think
that's
nice a side benefit. Much better, much more noble, much bigger picture thinking. I think your mother. More of your mother has rubbed off on you than you think.
Well, thank you. I'll take that.
Okay, so I know you've shared with me before that you actually have a babysitting group in your neighborhood.
I do.
The moms have already formed somewhat of a co-op and are already helping each other, and yet you're still a raving advocate and fan of Momni. So I would love for you to share with our audience, other Momnis and prospective Momnis, why, if you already have a group or a semi-group or a great group, why is Momni still a benefit to you?
Momni is way better. It is so much better.
But thanks.
Oh my gosh. No, I really, really mean that. And I think most people, once they really understand what it is and they get past the idea of dollars flying through the air instead of tickets, because that's usually the problem, is people see the money exchange and they think, oh my goodness, if I'm actually putting money out there, I don't feel like it's worth it anymore to do those things that are just self-developmental. That would be only reserved for my emergencies, like my OBGYN trips, or anything that's a true emergency that I really, maybe date night, maybe I'll pay money for. And sometimes we get this conundrum of this, like, I will only impose my children on people who are taking them that have to have money because it doesn't work in my budget, or because it's an imposition if it's an emergency. And I hope that everybody's going to be able to get past that a little bit, because the ticketing systems, they're beautiful in theory, they're wonderful. And they're exhausting. They're hard to cap. So our group were able to say we're full. But there's still this knowledge that every person I turned down was really, really looking forward to an hour of space that day. And there's only one person on shift. So I was on shift yesterday, and including my children, at one point in time, I had 11 children under the age of 9 in my home. And I'm the oldest of 10. I could do that. I knew I could do that. I did turn down people, though. I took them until I knew I was completely stretched, as thin as I could go. And it was a long day and it's exhausting, and I kind of dread those days. And part of it's that I need to say no earlier. But the other part of it is really, truly, I did say no to some people, and I hit that point of my cap. And that first person that I said no to, my heart kind of broke because I know that she's a mom who really, really needs help right now, and I just could not take her son. And I wish I could have said, but so and so and so and so and so and so in the neighborhood that are already in our group are Momni hosts, and so and so and so and so I can see on my phone right now are available for the next 4 hours. And I see that you have a credit built up from 3 weeks ago when you watched my kids, and you have the money in there. And then there's no longer a ticket exchange of them to you, or days when you have to wait for someone to be on shift and you just have to cross your fingers that they won't be full when last minute you decide that you actually want to clean your bathrooms in peace, those things, or go to Walmart by yourself. And that you can drop them off and know that they're going to be safe, that they're with somebody in a group, but through Momni. So there's more than one option. The other thing is it's very common for not only people to fill up and still have need, but for people that need a date night, right? And date nights, ours is 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's during school hours. And every now and then they'll organize a date night thing, but it's rare. So you need date night. You need, a lot of people will have after school activities for their kids that are outside the hours, and their husband's not home, and they have a baby at home and things like that. And suddenly they're scrambling to find people, but the high school kids are still doing their sports, and so they can't come babysit. And the husbands are all gone, and the moms are all still overwhelmed, except maybe 3 of them who should be on Momni. And so suddenly there's this huge scramble through the email group on our Momni, on our co-op group of who can take my kids for this hour these days. And usually it's like morning of, I need someone in 4 hours, and I've done that before, and it's so stressful. It's stressful for you as a mother. It's stressful for anybody picking it up, because they weren't planning that with their day, things like that. Whereas if you have a something set in place where someone already said, okay, this week I can take Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. I can take kids these hours, and all you have to do is open up your phone and say, hey, that person 3 doors down is available at these hours. So much better than a co-op group. I just got to tell you.
Or it sounds like they could even coexist together, that you can have the co-op group, but that Momni feels a need that the co-op group doesn't.
Exactly.
On days or when you need a little bit more, or the co-op group is too full or last minute. So great. Those are really helpful ideas, because I know a lot of moms do have different groups they've formed. For me, I've had them before where we do the popsicle stick exchange. Yeah. And I found that the supply and demand just rarely matched up. That when I had, so many kids, it was usually that I needed more hours of care given, and I didn't have as many hours to watch other people's kids. And so it would break down in my situations.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for all of your ideas. I'm so grateful that you're one of our early adopters and raving fans of Momni. Is there anything, last minute thing that comes to mind that, or maybe if you could narrow it down to your very most number one favorite thing about Momni? I don't know. There are so many. Pick just one.
My very favorite thing about Momni is probably the reviews and the safety I feel from those reviews. You have this, and I know it's sometimes difficult to give negative reviews, but you have this incredible community that you're able to build with not only people you know, but people you don't. And there's background checks, so the safety, I guess, not just reviews, but the safety behind the feeling of Momni, where if you're putting your children in a home that, especially if someone that you haven't met, and some people choose to do that, some people won't, which is nice because you can bring people that you love into Momni. But for me, I know that if I do send them to a home that I don't know the person, I can look and see that my friends have sent their children there, that they've put positive reviews, that there's been a background check, that they've been verified. And these are all things that put me much more at ease than ironically sticking my kids in a gym daycare where everyone's a professional, because I know that they're going to be in a loving family environment instead of a sterile daycare environment. And for me, I'm willing to do both, but I would much prefer a family environment. And I love that about Momni. It offers a family environment for care for my children.
You'd be interested to know, since you mentioned the reviews, and that it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to leave a negative review, because we want to be honest as a community
Yeah.
and truly be vetting and rating one another so that it truly is an honest vision of how things are going. And
Yeah.
we're getting a lot of feedback from the early adopters, beta users. And
Mm-hmm.
one of them was that concern, like, how do we be totally honest if this is a friend or someone? And so now in the rating system, you get
Uh-huh.
a first review and rating, like 4 or 5 stars, and a comment that is public with your name attached to it. So the person and the whole community is going to know how you rated them. And there's a secondary rating system that breaks it down into categories like overall cleanliness, promptness. Now I can't remember them, but there's like 5 different categories,
Right.
stars and comments, and those are anonymous.
Oh, that's awesome.
So there's both back to back, the public and the anonymous, so that there's that opportunity to be frank without harming any friendships.
Right, frank and exact, right? Because often you'll get like a 2-star review for something, and there'll be nothing attached to it,
Yeah.
right? No reason. Whereas if you walk in and it just stresses you out because the house is so messy, you feel like there was no way for your baby to crawl through it, that or there was a dangerous situation as you arrived, it's a lot easier to break those down. So I love that. Um,
So
yeah,
we're always improving. New
yes,
features, new things, new improvements from all the feedback that we're getting. So
that's exactly right. And that's something I love about this company too. You can send in feedback and there's actual, it's not just a thank you for your response. You get an actual answer with some thought behind it. And I love that.
thank you. Well, some of those suggestions have come from you, and so keep them coming. And thanks for chatting with me today and with our Momni audience. And we'll be featuring you, sharing you, and just for everyone listening, Lisa is also open to doing overnight visits with her foster care training. Not that you need to have that training, but she's just one of our very best Momnies. So if you need a weekend date with your husband, then you should check out Lisa in Lehi. So thanks very much.
Thank you.
Have a great day, Lisa.
You too.